Hey yo bro, Marvel's Phase 6 is starting off with a cosmic bang and we got Fantastic Four first steps to thank for that. And how ironic is it that it's the fourth Fantastic Four movie that finally gets it right? And that's not to say that the first two Fantastic Four movies were bad, at least not for their time. It's just to say that they weren't peak, they weren't cinema, if you will.
But what about the third one?
No, I don't recall such a thing existing. Yeah, we don't talk about Fan Force, especially me, since I actually never seen it. But what I have seen is yet another example of Marvel finally putting care back into their films. You can really tell the difference in effort between Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four and Captain America Brave New World. But that's a story for another day. Yeah, Matt Shakman, who also directed WandaVision, took full advantage of what's essentially a rare blank slate in the MCU. First Steps isn't set in Marvel's cinematic 616 universe. And by the way, I still hate that decision. I'm with Iman Vellani, Miss Marvel, when she says,
I don't believe that the MCU is 616. As much as Kevin Feige can make us think that it's 616, it is 199999.
hey look man, how are we gonna tell Miss Marvel where she lives? Anyway, Matt Shakman's version of Marvel's First Family is set in a totally different universe, so he's not bogged down by all the history the MCU already has. So Shakman gets to create this world that's a cross between America in the 1960s and the Jetsons, with flying cars, robots like my man Kirby, but a little bit more garlic in your pot, sir. I know you ain't got taste buds, but please, trust me, Ben Grimm is right. And also they have the futuristic skyscrapers and technology that feels old, yet new at the same time. This is a world that believes in the Fantastic Four. They believe in their heroes. The people of Earth 828 are not nearly as cynical as 19999. They have complete trust in the Fantastic Four. There's actually a part of this movie where the Fantastic Four asks everyone on the planet to shut off their electricity, and they do it. Bro, could you imagine the Avengers just asking one country, hell, one city to do anything, let alone all of them? Those differences are what makes this first step into Phase 6 feel fresh. The basic premise is that the Fantastic Four, who have been heroes for 4 years when we meet them, come face to face with literally their biggest challenge when Galactus sends his hero Silver Surfer to Earth, who gives him the heads up, hey yo, you better go hug your loved ones because Galactus is hungry and I chose your planet for him to come eat. So, you know what I'm saying? Like get your affairs in order. Unless Reed Richards and Sue Storm give up their baby Franklin. And if they do that, the Earth is spared. And of course, the answer is hell no. So the Fantastic Four had to find a way to defeat Galactus before he turns the planet into his next meal. I wonder if Galactus uses seasoning, but that's a question for another day. What is seasoned is the veteran actor Pedro Pascal, which I have to be honest, I did not really understand the casting when it was first announced. Not to say that he's not a good actor, but he wasn't my first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, or seventh choice. Just because, well, he's a man of Hispanic descent. It just didn't cross my mind. But with that being said, he absolutely smoked it, and I'm not surprised. I mean, this is very eerily almost close to the comics, because what we know from the comics is that Reed Richards' superpower, although he stretches, he got to stretch. His real superpower is his brain. And I love the way that they displayed him being not only the leader, but also a thought leader of the team, while also not overriding anyone's thoughts. He takes in account of everyone's opinion on a matter, but still a lot of times, or sometimes I should say, does end up making that final call or coming up with that idea that will cause the Fantastic Four to win. But sometimes that idea is actually thwarted by circumstance and he has to shift, he has to pivot. And I love the fact that there are times during this movie where Mr. Fantastic is just like, man, I don't know. I got no clue. And a lot of that has to do with Galactus, because if Galactus showed up, I would also have no clue. But I'm also not Mr. Fantastic. But Mr. Fantastic in this movie is not only just smart, he's also super caring of his family, of Sue Storm. And one of the best things that Matt Shakman does in this movie is create that family unit, and they actually really feel like a tangible, lived-in family, which is important for the Fantastic Four. They have to feel like these relationships are real. They have to have that chemistry. And Vanessa Kirby, for me, as Sue Storm, is the MVP of this movie. She is so incredibly powerful, not only with her powers, obviously, but with her words as well. She's an ambassador who brokers peace between warring nations. She's also a super pregnant superhero who will go off into space to protect Earth from Galactus. Like, she is an all-around hero. And that's one thing that I really enjoyed about this movie. All the heroes, whether it's Ben, Johnny, Sue, or Reed, they all want to be heroes. A lot of times in the Earth 19999, a lot of them are reluctant to be heroes, which is not a problem. This is the MCU that we grew up with. So it's not a bad thing. It's just a difference. So this difference is what keeps these heroes fresh in my mind. They want to go out and help. They want to be these heroes in the public eye. They want to be in the community. Ben Grimm is always around the people of Yancey Street, of course, but just the neighborhood in general, entertaining the kids, hanging out with Natasha Lyonne. Also, they show that Ben is actually of the Jewish faith, which is an important detail because that is an important part of his character, and we never want to just throw that away for whatever reason. Sue Storm is my MVP, but Johnny Storm is a very close second. And the reason why is because they don't show him to be a dumb human being. He's not a dumb jock. He actually contributes a lot to this team. His silliness and his lack of maturity sometimes causes the rest of the Fantastic Four to look at him like, hey, Johnny, just get it. I know you womanizing, you chasing women. Listen, what you got to say? But they always stop to listen to him. They never like just cut him off and say, I don't want to listen to you. They always give him that attention and give him that respect. But Johnny Storm in this movie is a hero. And I know that that's weird to say, especially when we're talking about superheroes. But the thing that Johnny Storm does several times is that he offers himself in place of the Earth, in place of other people. He's always willing to protect the people that he loves, and he's usually the first person to throw hands. This family feels like a family unit, and they did a really good job of making you believe that they actually cared about one another. But those aren't the only great character dynamics and characters in this movie. I gotta tell y'all, man, Galactus is absolutely enormous and incredible in this movie. Galactus is not a cloud, thank God. Cloud Galactus is out of here. We got an actual U-horn Galactus in this movie, and I absolutely love what they did with him. He is the antagonist, the villain of this movie. But interestingly enough, they give him a story in which I felt empathy for him. I was like, I totally understand. You need Franklin Richards for this particular reason. Hey, check this out. You can't have my baby. Like, so I understand it's like one of those great villains. All the great villains of the MCU and all great villains in general, probably besides the Joker, all have these things where you kind of like understand where they're coming from, even if you almost agree with them, but you're like, that's too far and we're not doing that. But he's also really funny. He has several lines in this movie. There's like, yo, that's funny. He has one part where he turns around and looks at a statue and is like, you small. Like, it's so funny. Some of the things that he does in this movie, man. But in addition to Galactus, we got to talk about Silver Surfer, his hero, Shala Ball. I believe that's how her name's pronounced. Shala Ball? I'm not sure. But Shala Ball, Silver Surfer, is like absolutely incredible in this movie. I've been saying absolutely incredible way too much. But yo, she is amazing to watch on screen. She's literally surfing fire, surfing space, surfing vortexes. There's a chase scene in space where it's Silver Surfer trying to catch up to the Fantastic Four. And that scene is one of the best scenes, not in this movie, in the MCU. I will go back and watch that scene all the time. I can see it as a scene that which is going to get a lot of replay value. And believe it or not, I do have some negatives about this movie, but all of my negatives are kind of flipped into a positive, and I'll tell you what I mean in a second. My biggest issue with this movie is that it's not longer. I wanted to see more of each and every one of these characters. A lot of things felt like this was cut short, and that's why I was also kind of miffed. I don't even know if that's the right term, because for a lot of that final battle, Silver Surfer ain't there. And I was kind of like, where's Silver Surfer? When she does show up, it's awesome. And one last little nitpick about something that didn't happen in this movie. They give us a montage of what happened in the Fantastic Four's first mission and what turned them into the Fantastic Four, but they didn't show the cosmic rays. And I know that's a very nerd thing to complain about, but I kind of want to see the cosmic rays at least wash over them. Let them transform. They can transform off screen, but I would have loved to have seen it. You know what I mean? It's just, we don't need to do origin stories over and over again, but there's certain things I kind of feel like should be there. Cosmic rays, Fantastic Four should be there. But yeah, I absolutely adored this movie. Let me know in the comments what you thought about Fantastic Four First Steps, and I'll talk to you guys next time.